Hi, thanks for watching Fire Engineering Training Minutes. I'm Nick Martin, and today we're going to talk about forcing the hinge side of an inward opening door. So the door that we have here for today's demonstration is probably not something we would end up on the hinge side of because of the glass. So let's ignore that for a minute and pretend we've got ourselves, say, a tough inward opening water metal door, and we've got some problems on the lock side. The lock side is generally going to be where we start, but there's a variety of factors that might make that not work out for us. There could be some tough locks, there could be multiple locks. We might have a police style or brace style lock on the back that is really reinforcing this lock side. So our hinge side is kind of our plan B. Now, when we actually attack the hinge side, we're going to use a lot of the same techniques that we use on the lock side. We're going to basically treat these hinges like they are locks. So the way we, of course we can identify the swing of the door because we don't see hinges. The hinges are on the back side here. But we can kind of guess from experience as to where they are. I'm betting there's a hinge about here, I'm betting there's a hinge about here, and I'm betting there's a hinge about here. So that's going to be where I focus my efforts. I'm going to force these in the order of top, bottom, and middle. We do the same thing on an outward door on the hinge side, and that's because we don't want this door going in on us. If we do top, middle, and then bottom, then we're down here when the door goes, and we're kind of in a vulnerable position. So we want to leave the middle one for last, so we can be in a controlled position when this door finally goes. Our technique, we're going to use our irons. We'll have a 2 firefighter team come up here in a minute and demonstrate it for us. We're going to have our axe firefighter is going to come in, and he's going to give some strikes in the area of the hinges, which are our locks, right? So we're going to shock our door, giving this some hits here, trying to loosen that up a little. We'll do it all 3 while we have the axe in hand, okay? Then our Halligan firefighter is going to come in. They're going to come in first, and they're going to try and gap the door, just like we do when we're on the lock side, okay? We're going to try and get that adze in between the door stop and the body of the door and exert some downward motion in this case to try and begin to create that gap, okay? We'll get as much as we can out of that. In some cases, you may be lucky enough that might actually even defeat it. But in a lot of cases, what that's going to do is begin to open it up enough that we now have some space where we can insert the fork side, okay? So just like we do on our lock side, we're going to start bevel to the door, okay? Meaning the outward curve is going to be facing towards the middle of the door, and we're going to get in position there, get our good hand position, underhand on the outside. See how that keeps my elbow out of the way compared to this, right? So I got under over, mixed grip, good control on the bar, okay? My eyes are going to be on the fork the whole time, and my axe firefighter is going to come in and begin to hit, and we're going to work this bar probably starting at about a 45-degree angle. We'll begin to work it out here. We're going to try and go just below that hinge. Then we're going to set it into the proper depth, just like we do on the lock side of the door, and then we'll come in and we'll force it, okay? Now, you got to be kind of on point when you guess where the hinge is, okay? If the hinge is right here, I don't want to go right on the hinge. I'm not going to drive a fork through a hinge, so I got to go just below that hinge, okay? And if I mess up and I choose the wrong spot and I'm on the hinge, then I'm going to need to reposition and drop down a little bit. So we're going to do that same technique on all 3 hinges, top, bottom, and then middle. It's pretty much the same technique that we would use on the lock side of the door. So that's how it's going to go. Let's take a look. Okay, so here's our 2-person team. They're going to come up, the door is locked, they've decided to go with the hinge side. We're going to shock that door on all the hinges, right, with the axe. Loosen it up a little bit. Now our Halligan firefighter can come in. First thing he's going to do is try and slide that adze in there and try and give us a nice gap, okay? He's going to work that a couple times and get as much as he can out of it. Once he feels like he's gotten what he can, he's going to flip around to our fork side, okay? Now remember, we're going to start bevel to the door, just like he's got it there. He's going to get in position, call for some hits.
Hit, 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 hit.
All right, he's got it to good depth there. And now we're going to come in, we're going to put force towards the door, moving the bar towards the door. Push that bar in towards the door there, right? Until that hinge gives way. All right, we've gotten our top hinge, so now we're going to move on to our bottom hinge using the same technique. You see how this door is given pretty easy, so if we were to go for the middle hinge and then the bottom hinge, we'd probably be losing control of this door when we're down on our one knee in a vulnerable spot. So he's got a good gap there on the bottom. Now we can try and go for our set on the, we're gonna go on our bottom hinge and set it, and then force that bottom hinge. All right, it looks like that bottom hinge gave already on our gap actually. So now we can kind of go to our middle hinge. He might not even have to gap it if he's already got it, so you can already slide the adze in there behind it. So we're gonna go ahead and use that gapping motion, finish the door. Door goes in on us, and we're in. Now we wanna make sure when that door goes in, we wanna keep an eye on those hinges and make sure that it's clear that when that door is about to go, that we're ready to go. We wanna make sure our guys have their masks on. If the fire area is right behind us, we wanna make sure the line is ready and charged, and most importantly, we wanna be in control of that door. You notice that door didn't go in until he wanted it to, and that's important. We don't wanna just blow it off its hinges in an uncontrolled manner. We wanna be in control of it all times. So that's how it goes, went well for us. Thanks for watching Fire Engineering Training Minutes. I'm Nick Martin.